Hello, I'm Rajat Kane. You're watching News Tonight on Sabha TV. Let's have a look at the top headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi flags off latest Magenta line of Delhi Metro, asks people to use public transport more and save fuel costs. Vice President Venkaiah Naidu praises the country's syncretic culture in his address at Udwada Utsav. Also talks about the invaluable contribution of the Parsi community. Kulbhushan Jadhav meets his wife and mother at Pakistan Foreign Affairs Ministry in Islamabad. Pak says it's humanitarian gesture, not consular access. And 10 killed in suicide bomb attack near Afghanistan intelligence agency compound in Kabul. Islamic State claims responsibility for the attack. Well, Prime Minister Modi flagged off Magenta line of the Delhi Metro today. He also rode the metro from Botanical Garden to Okhla Bird Sanctuary Station. The new line connects Noida to South-East Delhi, reducing the travel time cost by at least 30 minutes. The service on the new line are now open to public.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi riding the Magenta line of the Delhi Metro soon after inaugurating the 12-kilometer stretch on Monday. Accompanying the Prime Minister was Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. UP Governor Ram Nayak, Urban Development Minister Hardeep Singh and DMRC Chief Mangu Singh also rode the metro with the Prime Minister till Okhla Bird Sanctuary Station. After his ride, the Prime Minister also addressed a public meeting. Advocating the use of public transport, the Prime Minister said travelling on a metro train should be a prestige issue.
इस मेट्रो के कारण जो प्राइवेट व्हीकल में जाते हैं वो स्वाभाविक रूप से मेट्रो पसंद करेंगे और उनकी तरफ से भी जो पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट का खर्च होता था उसमें बहुत बड़ी भारी मात्रा में बचत होगी। एनवायरनमेंट को फायदा होता है और मैं चाहता हूं कि मेट्रो ट्रैवलिंग ये हमारे देश में एक प्रतिष्ठा का विषय बनना चाहिए, प्रेस्टीज का विषय बनना चाहिए। हर व्यक्ति गर्व से कहे नहीं मैं तो गाड़ी नहीं ले जाऊंगा भाई, मैं तो मेट्रो से जाना पसंद करूंगा। ये हमारी मानसिकता में बदलाव हमें लाना होगा।
Modi also praised Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath for braving the Noida jinx that had kept previous chief ministers away from the state's urban hub.
आज मुझे खुशी है कि जिस नोएडा के संबंध में एक छवि बन गई थी कि कोई मुख्यमंत्री यहां आ नहीं सकता है, उस मिथक को योगी जी ने बिना बोले अपने आचरण से सिद्ध कर दिया कि ये सब मान्यताएं गलत होती हैं। आधुनिक युग ऐसा हो नहीं सकता और इसलिए मैं योगी जी को हृदय से बधाई देता हूं। मुख्यमंत्री कहीं जाने से कुर्सी चली जाएगी इस डर से अगर जीते हैं तो ऐसे लोगों को मुख्यमंत्री बनने का हक ही नहीं है। मान्यताओं में कैद कोई भी समाज प्रगति नहीं कर सकता है। हम टेक्नोलॉजी के युग में जी रहे हैं, विज्ञान के युग में जी रहे हैं। श्रद्धा का अपना स्थान होता है लेकिन अंधश्रद्धा के लिए कहीं जगह नहीं हो सकती।
The UP Chief Minister said development is priority for his government and that decisions are taken in national interest, not for political gains.
हम सब इस लक्ष्य को लेकर के आगे बढ़ें कि काम ये दुख तप्ता नाम प्राणी नामार्ते नाशनम। जब तक एक भी व्यक्ति किसी भी प्रकार के दुख से, किसी भी प्रकार से पीड़ित है, तब तक हम अपने पुरुषार्थ से उसके कल्याण का मार्ग अगर प्रशस्त कर सकें, उसके उत्थान का मार्ग प्रशस्त कर सकें, तो हम सबको पूरा परिश्रम करना चाहिए, अपने पुरुषार्थ का भरपूर उपयोग करना चाहिए।
The Magenta line of the Delhi Metro connects Botanical Garden in Noida to Kalkaji in southeast Delhi. It has 7 stations along the way, and the entire journey on the stretch is expected to last about 20 minutes. The line is scheduled to be extended till Janakpuri in West Delhi by March 2018. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee's birthday is being celebrated today as Good Governance Day across the country. Prime Minister Modi and Union Ministers Rajnath Singh and Vijay Goyal met former Prime Minister and wished him. BJP President Amit Shah also met the former PM. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu also extended their wishes to the former Prime Minister. Good Governance Day is being celebrated since 2014 to honour Vajpayee by spreading awareness among the people about accountability in the government. A special gesture the Modi government led in 2014 announced Vajpayee's birthday as Good Governance Day annually.
गुड गवर्नेंस आपने देखा होगा उन राज्यों की प्रगति अच्छी हो रही है जहां पर गवर्नेंस पे बल है, गुड गवर्नेंस का प्रयास है, और जहां जहां पर गवर्नेंस में सुधार शुरू होता है, शासन व्यवस्थाओं में सुधार शुरू होता है, सरकार अकाउंटेबल बनती है, मुलाजिम रिस्पॉन्सिबल बनते हैं, पूरी व्यवस्था प्रशासन रिस्पॉन्सिव होता है, तो अपने आप समस्याएं कम होती नजर आती है। अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी जी ने अपने शासनकाल में गुड गवर्नेंस पर बल दिया।
Vice President Venkaiah Naidu has said that any attempt to create differences in the name of religion by vested interest and religious extremists must not be encouraged. He was addressing the members of Parsi community at the holy town of Udwara in Daman on Monday during Iran Shah Udwara Utsav 2017.
He was honoured by the British government with the title of...
Addressing the Udwara Utsav valedictory session, Vice President Venkaiah Naidu said that the Parsi community has made invaluable contributions to the country from the field of atomic energy to pharmaceuticals.
ज़रातुस्त्र का संदेश हजारों साल के बाद भी हमारा जीवन को सार्थक बनाने को प्रेरित करता है, सनातन सत्य को प्रतिबिंबित करता है, सत्संकल्प, सात्विक अभिव्यक्ति और सदाचार का संदेश भारतीय संस्कृति का मूल मंत्र जैसा लगता है. I am very happy that I am meeting one of the oldest cultures of the world, finest cultures of the world, and one of the most very intelligent race of the world.
The Vice President also said that India's syncretic culture and ethos form the basis of the country's secularism.
Friends, India's syncretic culture and ethos form the basis of the country's secularism. Secularism is safe and secure not because of constitution, not because of political leaders. Secularism is safe and secure because it is in the DNA of the blood of the people of India in this soil. Everybody, Sarva Dharma Samabhavana. The secular foundations of the country must be strengthened further, and any attempt to create differences in the name of religion by vested interests and religious extremists must be nipped in the bud.
The Vice President arrived in Udwara Zoroastrian Atash Behram on Monday morning. He also visited the fire temple and offered prayer as he wrapped up his 4-day tour. Rajkamal Rao's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The ruling ADMK on Monday sacked 4 office bearers for allegedly supporting sideline party leader TTV Dinakaran. 5 other functionaries were also removed from the party for betraying the ADMK. The action comes a day after Dinakaran won the RK Nagar by-poll by a thumping margin of 40,707 votes against ADMK's official candidate E. Madhusudan. The decision to sack members was taken during a high-level meeting. The emergency meeting was called by Tamil Nadu Chief Minister E. Palaniswamy and O. Pannirselvam to discuss party's performance in recent by-poll. The party decided to remove, among others, key Dinakaran aides P. Vetrivel and Thanga Tamila Selvan ADMK District Secretary in Chennai and Theni, respectively. The Parliamentary Standing Committee's report on the issue of women in custody and their access to justice has shown a worrying aspect. The committee, headed by Lok Sabha MP Vijay Chakrabarti, toured several jails in the last 3 years and in its report gave insight to deplorable conditions. Have a look at this report.
There are many things that are worrying in this report of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on the issue of women in custody and their access to justice. The committee, headed by Lok Sabha MP Vijay Chakrabarti, toured several jails in the last 3 years. In its report, the committee has said 60% of the total arrests were not justified. 43% of expenditure incurred by jails are due to unnecessary arrests. The Home Ministry has informed that as against the central prison's capacity of 1,59,150 prisoners, there is 116% capacity, that is 1,85,182 prisoners. Similarly, this figure is 131% in state jails. This figure is 233.9% in Chhattisgarh, 139.8% in Madhya Pradesh, 177.9% in Meghalaya, 166.8% in Uttar Pradesh and 226.9% in Delhi. The committee has also expressed concern over the incidence of rape of women in jails. Uttar Pradesh recorded 91 incidents of rape of women in custody in 2015. That figure was 189 in 2014. The committee has sought information from the government on the steps taken to prevent such incidents. The committee has said that under-trial prisoners are kept with prisoners who have committed serious crimes or are professional criminals. Many women live for years in jail because they don't even have 100 rupees to pay as fine. The committee has recommended transferring such cases to a different jail court. The committee has said that there is a need to amend the rules in the jail manual to ensure better conditions for women in custody and also for the care of children living with the women in jail. It has also called for special focus on health and psychological needs for women in custody to be taken into account. The committee has recommended the introduction of CCTVs in all women jails and cells. The report has also emphasized on rehabilitation and skill development for women after serving jail term. Social workers working on prison reforms believe that the slow justice process is responsible for the condition of women in prisons, and maximum emphasis should be on life and rehabilitation after prison life.
जेलों में काउंसलर्स की कमी है, जेलों में मनोचिकित्सक जाकर जो महिलाओं से बात कर सकें, उनकी समस्याओं का निदान कर सकें, या गायनोकोलॉजिस्ट तक उनकी कमी है। ये बहुत एक सीजनल सा मामला है, कोई आज गया और फिर वो कई दिनों तक नहीं गया। इसके अलावा एक समस्या ये भी है कि जब ये महिलाएं वापस आती हैं, इन्हें समाज कैसे स्वीकार करेगा। हालांकि मीडिया रिपोर्टिंग में आमतौर पर महिला कैदियों की या फिर उनके बच्चों की तस्वीरें नहीं दी जाती, लेकिन तब भी जो समाज है, जो मोहल्ला है, जिसे अंदाज़ा है कि ये महिला जेल के अंदर है, बाहर आके उसके लिए अपना एक नया परिचय बनाना बहुत मुश्किल है।
The Standing Committee has asked the government to pay attention to the situation of foreign women prisoners lodged in Indian jails. The committee has recommended the need for interpreters and experts in jails to give them information about the law. The committee has also expressed resentment over the fact that the 1894 Jail Act, which requires major changes, is still broadly applicable.
Life after jail term is a completely different world for women, and society shows reluctance to accept her like previously. And the committee pointed out the same thing. Committee recommended that more women counsellors and also psychologists needed in women jails. With cameraman Shikumar, this is Panchanan Mishra for Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, here's a quick look at what else is making news across the country and nationwide. The Indian Railways flagged off country's first condition local train in Mumbai. The AC local will initially run only in Churchgate-Borivali section. The train will start full-fledged operations from January 1st, having 12 services per day. The nation is paying homage to Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya on his birth anniversary today. Prime Minister Modi said Pandit Malviya's impact on India's history is strong and unforgettable. He added that Pandit Malviya's efforts to further education and the spirit of patriotism will always be remembered. Leaders from across the party lines paid homage to great leader and educationist. Delhi NCR continues to be under grip of severe cold wave. Dense fog enforced cancellation of at least 17 trains, while 26 others were delayed and 6 rescheduled due to poor visibility. Over a past week, a dense fog covered several parts of North India, with temperatures dropping in Delhi, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan and Himachal Pradesh. Time for a very short break. More on the other side.
A warm welcome to India's World, focusing on our neighbours.
We now need to use our military diplomacy far more. That will not be aggressive.
Life is not going to become simpler for us because China is more assertive. It's where all these decades China has not been present, but now it is.
Is there something lacking in the way we practice our foreign policy? Should we be somebody who people say, yeah, look, we shouldn't be crossing their path?
One of the most influential revolutionaries of Indian freedom struggle, Shaheed Bhagat Singh. Born into a Sikh family, patriotism flowed in his blood at the age of 13. When he formed Naujawan Bharat Sabha to spread the message of revolution in Punjab. In the wake of avenging Lala Lajpat Rai's death, Bhagat Singh and his associates coined the catchphrase Inqilab Zindabad. But towards the end of their rebellion, they had to pay a heavy price for their patriotism. Following the blasts inside the corridors of the assembly, both Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt courted arrest. Bhagat Singh was sent to the gallows in Lahore with his fellow comrades, after which he was cremated in Husainiwala on the banks of Satluj.
Welcome back. For the first time since his arrest, Indian prisoner Kulbhushan Jadhav on Monday met with his wife and mother at Pakistan Foreign Affairs Ministry in Islamabad. Pakistan has portrayed this meeting as humanitarian gesture, confirming it doesn't constitute consular access. It also issued a new video of Jadhav thanking the Pakistan government for the meeting.
Kulbhushan Jadhav, the Indian prisoner lodged in a Pakistani jail, met his wife and mother at Pakistan Foreign Affairs Ministry in Islamabad on Monday. It was the first meeting between Jadhav and his family since his arrest on March 3rd last year. The Pakistan Foreign Office also released pictures of Jadhav talking to his wife and mother from behind a glass screen. The communication between them was through an intercom device. The two women reached Islamabad from Delhi amid tight security. India's Deputy High Commissioner J.P. Singh also accompanied the family for the meeting. Pakistan said this meeting was on humanitarian basis, categorically rejecting that it was any sort of consular access.
काउंसलर एक्सेस का मामला यकीनन हमारे पास है, पहले हम ये न दे सके, उसकी वजह ये है कि इसकी तफ्तीश इन्वेस्टिगेशंस चल रही थी, केस चल रहा था और वो मुकदमा वगैरह, और ये हमने मुलाकात करा दी। ये जो ह्यूमैनिटेरियन ग्राउंड्स पे है काउंसलर एक्सेस अकॉर्डिंगली फैसला हो जाएगा जब वक्त आएगा। तो ये मुलाकात काउंसलर एक्सेस नहीं थी जी, ये कैटेगोरिक पोजीशन है। ये मैं मुकम्मल कर लूँ जी प्लीज़, ये मुलाकात काउंसलर एक्सेस नहीं थी क्योंकि डिप्लोमेट को हमने पहले बता दिया था कि आप वहाँ मौजूद होंगे, प्रेजेंट होंगे, वो प्रेजेंट थे।
It's an emotional moment, irrespective of the merits of the case. Humanitarian basic norms require that such access should be given. After all, not only is he merely an accused at the moment, but he is being tried at the very high bar of the International Court of Justice.
Jadhav's friends expressed happiness and said the meeting that has come after a very long time should be considered as a moral victory for India.
एक तरह से ये मॉरल विक्ट्री है हमारी कि कहीं कुछ भी नहीं हो रहा था, अब जाके ये हुआ है, तो इससे बहुत सारी उम्मीदें बढ़ गई हैं कि अब आगे चल के भी बहुत सारी चीजें हमारे पक्ष में ही होंगी।
The Pakistan Foreign Ministry has also made it clear that there is no chance in the charges against Kulbhushan Jadhav. It also claims that Monday's meeting between Jadhav and his family will have no impact on the case against him in the International Court of Justice.
तक जी हमारा काउंटर मेमोरियल जिसको जवाबी बयानिया वो हमने 13 दिसंबर को उनको जमा करा दिया था, वो भी आईसीजे के पास है। मैं कैटेगोरिकली आपको फिर से कह दूं कि ये ह्यूमैनिटेरियन मुलाकात है, इसका कानून से कोई तो वो काउंसलर होती या कुछ और हो तो वो तो और बात होती, इसका हमने किसी मुकदमा जीतने के लिए ये मुलाकात नहीं कराई, ना इसका इम्पैक्ट आएगा।
Pakistan had on December 20th issued visa to Jadhav's wife and mother to visit Islamabad to meet him. The 47-year-old Indian naval officer is in Pakistani jail, facing death sentence on charges of espionage. Akhlay Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
10 people have been killed in suicide bomb attack near compound of Afghanistan's intelligence agency in Kabul. Another 5 people were injured when attacker who was on foot blew himself up as agency's employees were on their way to work. The victims reportedly included a woman in a car that was going past the area at the time of the blast. Islamic State has claimed responsibility for the attack. The director of hospitals in Kabul said the number of casualties could rise. Last week, Islamic State also targeted a trading center belonging to the intelligence agency. The Russian opposition politician Alexei Navalny has submitted documents needed to be registered as a presidential candidate to the country's Central Election Commission. Calling it an end to the Putin era in Moscow, Navalny has insisted on his right to run for the election. This after Election Commission called him ineligible to run due to a criminal conviction.
Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has cleared the first hurdle towards taking part in the next year's presidential election, winning the support of 742 people at a gathering in Moscow, above the minimum 500 required to initiate a presidential bid. His supporters met in 20 cities across the country to secure the signatures. Navalny then submitted his documents to the Central Election Commission. The election officials have, however, ruled Navalny ineligible because of a corruption conviction which he claims is politically motivated.
Мы подали документы и закончили формальную часть в движении. Я думаю, что у любого человека, у любого зрителя, у любого наблюдателя, даже, возможно, критически настроенного нам, нет никаких сомнений в том, что они сегодня увидели действительно массовое низовое выдвижение, инициативные группы по всей стране.
Navalny has declared open war on incumbent President Vladimir Putin, saying that Putin does not have the mass support he claims. He also told his supporters in a marquee on a snowy riverbank that he would call a boycott of election if he were not allowed to stand. Separately, on Sunday, an opposition rally was also called by separatist Ilya Yashin.
Но мы же с вами убедились за этот год, что нет никакой массовой поддержки Путина и власти. Нигде. Чем дальше от Москвы, тем меньше этой поддержки, даже с учетом административного ресурса.
Понимаю, что Алексей Анатольевич Навальный – это далеко не самое большое добро, которое только может быть даровано российскому народу, но как этому явлению, как в принципе сбору неравнодушных людей, как оппозиционной некой акции, людей, которые не хотят жить при Путине и которые хотят, чтобы Россия была демократической страной.
The Election Commission, which extended its working hours on Sunday to take the documents, has 5 days to decide whether Navalny will be registered. Meanwhile, the United Russia Party Congress is endorsing President Vladimir Putin for the presidential election. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Here are some updates from across the world in Global Buzz. As per reports, China has reasonably expanded its island in disputed South China Sea, and this year construction projects there, including radar facilities, covered about 72 acres. Beijing said the work is to help provide international service such as research and rescue, but admit there is a military purpose too. China also says it can do whatever it wants to on its territory. Tunisia has banned Emirates Airlines from landing in the capital Tunis after a number of Tunisian women were prevented from boarding its flights. The move comes amid widespread anger in Tunisia, with rights groups condemning the racist and discriminatory measures. The Transport Ministry said the measure would stay in place until Emirates was able to operate flights in accordance with law and international agreements. Pope Francis has urged Roman Catholics not to ignore the plight of millions of migrants driven from the land. Pope compared them to Mary and Joseph, recounting the biblical story of how they travelled from Nazareth to Bethlehem, but found no place to stay. Francis will give his traditional Christmas address later today. Now, Christmas is being celebrated across the world today. In India, sand artist Sudarshan Patnaik created 25 feet high and 50 feet wide face of Santa Claus out of sand on the Puri beach in Odisha. The giant Santa face has also "World Peace" written next to it. Claimed to be world's biggest Santa face, Patnaik has used 600 tons of sand for the sculpture. We'll leave you with these visuals from Puri Beach.